and looking forward to today's conversation. It should be a good one. How to build a sales machine that increases conversions. Um, Today's topic is one that is very, um, it's something I talk a lot about. If you follow my content, if you're just tuning in for the first time, what's going on? Make sure, I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn to, give me 1 second. Um, if you follow my content, I talk a lot about this idea, which is really a pretty simple one that basically the way that the way that we optimize. All right, I've got my LinkedIn pulled up. Let me know where you're joining from and your role. Those are like kind of two of my favorite things. I already see your name whenever you post. So drop in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from. Yeah, I'm excited for today. Should be a good one. So I talk about this topic a lot. Um, this idea that we've got to stop this kind of current process of how we optimize, which is really this kind of crazy idea. What's going on, Franco from London? We've got Franco. And Franco's got a med pick. We can talk about med pick too. Which is another topic, med pick, and variations of it that I get into on other LinkedIn lives. But today is really about optimizing performance, and really the differences between optimizing on a regular basis. What's up, Maggie? Maggie's in Chicago. Maggie, it's been a while. Hope you're doing well. Maggie's an friend, old coworker of mine from back in my career builder days. So all right. So why do you need to think about this idea of optimization and frequency, right? And it's interesting. I don't know why sales got into this. We've got folks from Mumbai joining. Seattle's in the house. There we go. Got the whole whole world covered at this point. So why is optimization more consistently important? And it's interesting. I think logically everybody gets this argument, right? That like if I'm going to optimize more frequently, what does that mean? Versus I'm optimizing every like longer term. What does that mean? The reality is most organizations are optimizing their outbound process or their sales process relatively in relatively long cycles, meaning every 6 months, every year, they're looking at it. And there's just a ton of data. I mean, you can do the math yourself too, and I can do the math for you. Um, of what's the advantage of getting 1% better every week or 2 weeks versus these big overhauls where we get 10% better, every year or something like that, right? And for any of you who are my 401k nerds, um, like myself, who started investing early, the compound interest on what happens when you optimize in a more frequent variable, in a more frequent time period, is a dramatic impact on revenue. Massive impact. All right, we got Milan, Italy in the house. There we go. Love that. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Can't forget Maxwell here. Um, so let's talk about how we do this. Let's talk about why this matters, why it's important. So I'm going to jump into this kind of idea of consistent performance optimization, right? Which is I'm really excited. Actually, if you haven't already signed up, actually here, let me make sure I plug / get you all a link. Where is Innovative Seller? Where's my summit link? Innovative Seller should have this probably pulled up, or actually maybe it's in my show notes here. Make sure you sign up. Speaking of there it is right there. Look at that. Becca's already on top of it. Of course, she's on top of it. Here you go, everyone. We have David Cohen from LinkedIn. He was the global head of the talent solutions business, which is a multi-billion-dollar business unit. He is going to be talking about this exact topic and how he did it at LinkedIn next Tuesday. So if you have not signed up for the summit, sign up. If you've already bought a copy of the book, make sure make sure that you have access to the Innovative Seller community, which you get for free now, and you'll automatically get an invite for the summit as well. So you'll get an opportunity to join. But consistent performance optimization is really just this idea of moving to more consistent optimization cycles and moving away from the idea that we should be doing big overhauls in sales. That the way to see change in your sales organization is to, do these big sequence overhauls, or to do a brand new sales playbook every 3 years, or bring in MedPick or a different solution here. MedPick's it's a good one, but we've got to move away from this idea that big change is what's going to move the needle. Buyer behavior is changing so quickly, we've got to adapt much faster. So I'm going to talk about a few things here about how do you do that, right? So this idea of like, yeah, Jake, it makes sense. Like it's better off for me to invest to get 1% better, I'm sure there's a bunch of motivational books about this topic, about 1% better every day or every week versus 10% better every year. And the big things that hold people back, and I'll talk a little bit about this. The first is a clear process, okay? Which is, how do we create a process internally for us to be able to do this, right? So I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about how you internally can do that as a part of this. So as we kind of get into the details here. So consistent process. So step one is we have to have a team. We use a framework called Rapid, and I talk about Rapid in the book as well too. It's 100% not my idea. It is 100% the invention of Bain Consulting. And Rapid is a really easy, and again, it can be cross-functional way that you can build a repeatable team that can help with this. Why outbound? And I'll start with outbound and I'll move into the sales process. I think why a lot of people struggle with outbound optimization in particular is there's too many cooks in the kitchen. You got, everybody has their opinion on what's working, right? And we can get into some other cool things that we're doing. I'll talk about Performance Pulse, which is a new software that we've developed as well. What's going on, Gail? Glad to have you. So step one is you have to have a cross-functional team with very clear decision making. So imagine a team that meets every 2 weeks for 1.5 to 2 hours, and you've got the input team. So I'll just kind of define Rapid for those of you who aren't familiar with it. Actually, if someone can hear, maybe I'll just grab a link and drop it in, so I don't have to give Rapid definition. Obviously, when you type in Rapid definition, it tells you the definition of the word rapid. Rapid decision making. Yeah, there we go. All right, let me get this for you. This is from Asana. They look credible to me. All right, there we go. All right, I just dropped it in there. So what Rapid does is I think it's the best. It's the best that we've came across, and it allows you to really quickly put in place a team that can make decisions quickly. You've got an input team, a perform team. Those are the people that do it, etc. So you have to have everybody who has a role, right? And the second piece when it comes to always optimizing, and I don't know if Becca, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we have a page up even on the website yet for Performance Pulse, which is our new piece of software that helps you to optimize your outbound process. But you also have to have the data in a good spot. And what I mean by step two, so step one is the team here. Step two, why does it do that? Step two would be clean data. Okay. And what I mean by clean data is you have to have a way that you are able to look at your content across your entire set of sequences in real time and see what's working and what's not. My friends, if you're sending out an email 200 times, 300 times, the data is already there for you to know to optimize it. So like, let's say if you've sent out an email and it has 250 sends on it, I am shocked that we're not A/B testing subject lines. We're not A/B testing the content, and it's because we don't have the data. You have to have clean data, and the same thing goes for your sales cycle. And what I mean by that is the sales process. If you don't know your average age in each step, if you don't know your conversion percentage by step, it's really tough to optimize. And you're going to continue to be one of those leaders or sales reps who's making decisions based on their gut, saying like, oh yeah, this subject line should work. Oh yeah, we need to get better at closing or converting our trials. And you don't actually solve the real problem because you don't have the real data. And so step two is step one, you form the team. Step two is make sure you have clean data, right? And like I said, let me see if I can get a link here for Performance Pulse. Or actually here, I can do a quick, I think I can share. What does this do? I don't even know what this button does. Add comment. What is this thing? Add value. It doesn't look like when you have a comment in a live that I can add an image, but I would add an image if I could. But Performance Pulse is a new platform that we developed that allows you to see across all your sequences what piece of content is working, not working, etc. And we developed it because we're doing hundreds of deployments of sales engagement tools, Outreach, Sales Loft, and the data, you couldn't see what was working and what's not working across all your sequences. And so we developed this. So just DM me. If you're like, Jake, look, man, I would love to get better data on our outbound performance. Just DM me and I'll get you more detail on it. So step one, we've got team. Step two, we've got clean data. All right. Now, and again, step three is this concept. And again, I'm going to talk a little bit about this because again, I think it's important, I think, for people to kind of like think through the third piece. And this is another pillar in the book. So in the book, consistent performance optimization is one of the four principles, one of the four C's. Within each principle, there are three pillars. The third pillar in this concept of consistent performance optimization is called moonshots. And why I call this out is if you look at every single top performer, right? And I shouldn't say 99% of top performer. What you will see is that they do things differently. And so what happens is, in this idea of consistent performance optimization, I've got my process, I've got the team in place that can make the changes. They can redo the content, look at the data, which is number two is, as I'm looking at this kind of bi-weekly meeting that we have to look at the data, somebody's got to rewrite the content. So I've got a team in place, or you're working with an agency like Skaled that can help you with that. But you have to build in number three, which is moonshots. And I think any seller out there will appreciate this, right? I think you will, at least. We have got to let people try new things to break the system. Like, yes, you want to get consistently better by saying like, hey, let's change the subject line. We're going to remove this email. We're going to move this step. Step 4 is not converting. We're going to move it to step 3. Yeah, sure. Of course, you want to do all of those things. But you also have to let the team try new things. That moonshots is this idea that I don't know if any of you ever play trivia. Ever go to the bar, play trivia. But what you'll see if you do play trivia is that big teams can beat a really smart small team. That if you've got 3 or 4 really smart people, but you've got a team of like 10 people, they will win almost every single time. And it's because there's like different little nuanced things that they have learned in their lives. And so if you're not empowering your team to take moonshots, to say, hey, this is the box that we know works. We know that if you execute this thing, but try this thing, spend 10% of your time, 5% of your sequence time in just trying something different or something new. Maybe it's sending videos, maybe it's sending GIFs. I don't know what it is. Okay. But we have to bring in this kind of idea that we should always be testing big improvements. So a part of consistent optimization, again, it's such a great reprieve from how we do it today, which are these like big lifts, as opposed to like just trying small improvements on a more regular basis, coupled with this idea of looking at the data on a consistent basis. And so as a part of this, again, like the data plays out pretty massively. Again, if you just do some quick math here, like what is 1% better compounded annually each month. I think that's how you would probably say it. Yeah. Um, so again, you got to think about that. It's not 12%, you know, right? As a part of that, right? It's instead you're getting 1% better. That 1% then becomes 1.1. That 1.1 then becomes another 10% and becomes 1 point whatever that is to 1.22 whatever it is. Um, so as you think about the math, obviously you can tell. I was hoping it would pull this up for me really quickly, but it did not. But yeah, it's a much higher return. 26%. That's what it is. Dang it, I knew that. So instead of getting 12% better, you'll be 26% basically better, which is pretty significant, right? Think about getting 26% more outbound results. 26%, right? Again, if you're doing $1 compounding, yeah, it's almost 27%, right? So just think about like what that looks like as a part of this. So, again, as opposed to these big leaps forward, how can I continually get better? So that's what you need. Step one is your team. Step two is you've got the clean data, and step three is you have a process in place to put in place moonshots. And I cannot tell you how important that third one is because again, if you're going to break the system, if you're going to do like next level, then yeah, you're gonna need to do something, and you're gonna need to have a process in place for people to try new things. And instead of you have your rapid team that is doing this kind of consistent implementation of new best practices and optimization, but that rapid team is getting input from the whole field. They're looking at, wow, what did Jake do? Why are his numbers crazy good this week? Oh, great. Hey, I see this as a part of our team. Now let's go implement that across all of our sequences. So for everyone out there, again, if you're trying to get a process in place, I highly, highly, highly recommend you move. You move away, and here you go. I'm gonna drop the link. You move away from this idea of doing these big overhauls and move toward a world where you're focused on doing small changes consistently. And that is how you are going to get better. Marketing already does this. Okay. Marketing already, if they're using Google AdWords and spending, money on it, they're looking at their A/B testing ads. They're looking at different segments of the market. And we just have to take the same approach to sales. So for anyone out there who is interested in this topic, make sure come to the summit. It's next Tuesday. It's $40. That also gets you access to our Innovative Seller community. It gets you a copy of the Innovative Seller book, which launches April 9th. And it's a really awesome lineup. We've got speakers from OpenAI. We've got speakers from LinkedIn. We've got speakers from SEMrush. We've got Kevin Dorsey, Morgan Ingram. Like we've got a really awesome lineup for this session next Tuesday. So make sure you sign up as well. So consistent performance optimization. It is not that difficult to put in place. I promise you can do it. And a lot of times, again, it just requires the results are very real. And it just requires you, instead of just, again, continuing to be stuck in this, similar mindset to what we've done in the past, to just take a different vantage point. And instead to really think about what can I do to get better and better and better consistently. And instead of us disrupting weeks or months of somebody's life every 6 months, what if we just had a consistent rhythm where we met for an hour and a half to 2 hours every other week and just got better and better and better? And that's the recipe. So obviously, I go pretty deep on this topic in the book. Make sure you join Tuesday. Myself, David Cohn, former global SVP of sales at LinkedIn. We're going to talk about this in depth. So pumped to see you all there. Hope you have a great rest of your week. And yeah, I guess we will see you. I'll see you next Monday. Thanks, y'all.